right now on News Channel 8 at 5:30.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Josh Benson.
I'm Jennifer Lee. Thank you for joining us. A beautiful day out there in the Bay Area. A few jackets and long sleeves could be seen out at Kate Jackson Park and Hyde Park today. And while it may feel pretty comfortable out there right now, tonight and tomorrow morning, well, that's going to be another story. Storm Team 8 Chief Meteorologist Steve Jervey joins us now. And Steve, you've been calling it all week. It's going to be nippy tonight.
Yeah, we knocked a couple degrees off our forecast low too, Jen, because it's going to be cold. And many spots in the Bay Area will be below freezing. And obviously, this is one of those cold nights. In fact, the coldest night of this particular cold weather season. We're forecasting 32 degrees tonight. In Tampa, of course, obviously, many areas will be above that, below, depending on where you live. 50 degrees right now at the Tico Solar Array out in Apollo Beach. You do notice a few clouds there, but skies will generally be clearing from north to south. The front is pushing to our south now. Wind switch has already occurred. Northern folks are cooler than southern folks at the moment. Hard freeze warning for Citrus, Hernando, Pasco. Away from the coast for Hernando, Pasco. Freeze warning elsewhere. Pinellas County is now included. Shortly before 5, the Weather Service locally included Pinellas and coastal Manatee, Sarasota. So everybody essentially is under a freeze warning for tonight. Make sure to take those precautions. The wind chill alerts too. Winds are up. They're gusting to almost 30 miles per hour at the moment. Won't be that strong overnight, but still a bit of a breeze. That does help to mix the atmosphere a little bit, but this is a very extremely cold air mass, so just know that. Our model forecast, you can see we have some difficulty forecasting temperatures that'll be fairly cool for the upcoming morning, and it looks as though our temperatures will be near freezing. As we said, 32 degrees. Those numbers tend to change quite a bit, but we're forecasting 32 for a low here in the upcoming morning. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Steve. And just a reminder, you can track the weather anytime by using our Storm Team 8 Weather Max app. It's free to download in your app store.
Back open for business. Tropical Breeze Casino plans to reopen tomorrow, days after a fire destroyed their shuttle boat and sent more than a dozen to the hospital. One passenger died hours later. News Channel 8's Jamel A joins us now live from Port Richey, where officials just released those 911 calls.
Oh, good evening to you, Josh. And those calls are horrifying to listen to. I spoke with one victim who was on that boat Sunday, and he says he's never getting on this cruise again. Robert Boos was on the shuttle to Tropical Breeze Casino Sunday when he saw smoke.
People were yelling at me, jump, jump, jump. And I turned around and the flames started shooting out of the inside of the boat, and I could really feel that heat.
Boos, along with other passengers and crew members, jumped in the freezing water. 911 calls flooded Pasco County Emergency Services as the fire consumed the island lady. Terrified casino passengers called while they struggled to get to shore.
On Tropical Breeze Casino, the shuttle just caught on fire. We're all jumping overboard. We're on land now. It looks like the boat's going to blow and there's still people in the water. It's completely on fire.
Residents who live nearby couldn't believe what they were watching.
There's a boat on fire.
Okay, so there's a boat on fire?
There's a giant boat on fire. People are jumping out.
Boos injured his leg jumping in the water and has no plans to return.
Do you plan on going back?
No, I'll never go back.
Why not?
Just the fear of that and knowing the way they operate and the way they've operated with me following that fiasco, I'd be afraid.
And I spoke with a U.S. Coast Guard official who tells me their investigation does not restrict the casino from reopening. Josh?
Jamel, do we know when they plan to leave the dock?
Well, we don't have word yet when they plan to set sail to the Gulf of Mexico because this is now their shuttle. Because their shuttle was burned up, they have to use their casino boat now. So it's not clear right now how many trips they'll have to make back and forth. Josh?
All right, Jamel A live for us in Pasco County. Thank you.
The defense team for accused Seminole Heights killer Howell Donaldson appeared in court today. Donaldson did not. The judge told the state all of the search warrants and even the motions for the search warrants are sealed off to the court, meaning even the judge cannot review the warrants online. He asked prosecutors if they still wanted them sealed and why. Prosecutors told the judge because they are electronic files, they don't want to chance the possibility of sensitive information about the investigation leaking. Tonight, thanking Seminole Heights, Tampa Police Chief Brian Dugan and Tampa Mayor Bob Buckhorn thanked the community for all of their help during the Seminole Heights murder investigations. News Channel 8's Jana Jones joins us now live from our Tampa News Center. And Jana, you were there today. I imagine there was a lot of emotion in that room.
Good evening to you, Jen. There were, after 51 days of darkness and terror, the entire community was thanked for their diligence and their help getting the accused serial killer off the streets. And for the very first time, we heard from the McDonald's manager who received that reward money. A prayer.
During the time of great evil that occurred in the Seminole Heights community last year, many prayers were lifted up to you. We want to acknowledge and thank you for answering those prayers.
And a moment of silence for Benjamin Mitchell, Monica Hoffa, Anthony Naiboa, and Ronnie Felton.
Behind the victims' families, and we stood for something that was good, not that was evil. We stood for the light, not the darkness. We stood up, as Miss Walker did, and did the right thing.
McDonald's manager Delonda Walker, who received the reward money, broke her silence today, but still didn't want the attention.
I mean, I really do. It's very blessing. I really appreciate it.
Is it still overwhelming to think about how this all played out?
Yes, it is.
Monica Hoffa's uncle, forever grateful for Delonda Walker.
Well, she is a blessing, and that's how we consider her, as a blessing.
Rob Hoffa hugged Ronnie Felton's mother, offering her some kind words.
I've been praying for you. So much.
Meanwhile, Hoffa says the terror for him still isn't over.
Just hope it's over one day. I know it's going to be a couple years from now, but you know what? One day it will be over, and we'll be able to sleep at night and rest at night. I mean, y'all know. Look at me. I've lost 20 pounds. It's been rough since October.
Many in attendance today received certificates of appreciation, but Jen, few wanted that recognition.
There's some good folks in this community. Jana Jones, live in the Tampa News Center. Thank you.
Well, the flu, it's more than an inconvenience for some this time of year. It's proving to be deadly, and not just for the elderly. Let's take a look at some of the few cases that we have found here. For instance, here's one case in New Canaan, Connecticut, still trying to deal with the death of 10-year-old Nico Malazzi. Doctors say he died when a severe case of the flu turned into pneumonia. Now, Nico's school is doing everything it can to prevent the flu from spreading among the students there. Even a GoFundMe page has been set up for the parents in Nico's family. Also, let's take a look at the first pediatric case. Sad story out of Ohio. Now, the victim's parents are speaking out following the loss of their young son. Valerie and Richard Rybin say their 4-year-old son, Jonah, passing is unexpected, and he declined. His decline was rapid, dying within hours of the onset of symptoms. Jonah was the youngest of 17 siblings, 14 of whom were adopted. He and his brother Nikolai were adopted from Bulgaria and have a genetic illness. Nikolai has also been hospitalized with the flu. Let's take a look at this case now. A very healthy, physically fit 21-year-old Pennsylvania man died from complications from the flu. This is Kyler Bauman. He was working, going to school, and celebrating Christmas with his family. After the holidays, he returned to work but came home early because he wasn't feeling well. Within 2 days, Kyler's death took a tragic turn. He got a fever and he died shortly after that. And a local case that we're learning about as well. Let's take a look at this. This is Joe Morrison. This is in the Bay Area. One death hit especially close to home. He was an active and healthy 58-year-old and the father of 3. Last Thursday, he complained of a headache and went to the hospital. His symptoms escalated quickly, and he had a stroke that killed him. Joe leaves behind an adult daughter and 2 young children. Jen, back to you.
The State Board of Education has approved additional funding for more than a dozen turnaround schools through the controversial Schools of Hope law. 14 of the 31 low-performing traditional public schools applying for the funding will receive money. Though the implementation of the controversial law is going forward, 13 school districts have filed a lawsuit challenging its constitutionality.
It's a little bit of a challenge having to follow current law that they believe is unconstitutional.
I do find it ironic that a lot of those school districts that are suing over that bill are trying to receive the funding that comes with that bill.
These new selections bring the total number of traditional public schools receiving funding to 25. That is the maximum allowed by the law.
Well, last year, weather forecasters got a huge boost in technology when the GOES-R advanced weather satellite launched into orbit. That advanced next-generation satellite will soon have some company. As Ian Oliver tells us from the Space Coast, the new high-tech tool is being prepped for takeoff as we speak.
And liftoff of NOAA's GOES-R.
The GOES-R satellite launched in the fall of 2016 on a 20-year mission to monitor the skies above us. Now that it is online and in orbit more than 22,000 miles above the equator, the satellite is called GOES-16. It's packed with brand new technology and has already changed the game for weather forecasters.
I'm a spacecraft engineer by origin, but I love this mission because we get incredible feedback from our users, and not all missions get to say that.
GOES 16 sends back images with 4 times better resolution, 5 times faster than the previous generation, as frequently as every 30 seconds. That's a huge help to meteorologists tracking and forecasting storms. We first introduced you to it back in a clean room just weeks before it left Earth. Now, back in that very same room sits a sophisticated sibling, GOES S, the latest and greatest in NOAA's fleet. GOES S is the second of 4 satellites in the GOES-R satellite series, all part of an $11 billion program to monitor the sun and the skies above the Western Hemisphere through the mid-2030s. Once this high-tech tool is operational, roughly half the globe will be covered by these 2 satellites, each watching opposite coasts. This brings valuable, high-quality data like enhanced wildfire detection to places that critically need it.
GOES S will be in the GOES West position, which will then provide that data to the west coast of the U.S., Alaska, and the Pacific.
It was used heavily during the hurricane season and during the fire season, which you know has been particularly severe in the western United States.
Ian Oliver, News Channel 8.
GOES S is slated for launch on an Atlas V rocket from Cape Canaveral on the 1st of March. Once it reaches orbit, it'll be called GOES 17.
National Hugging Day is this Sunday, the 21st, and if you need a hug on that day, your best bet is Tropicana Field. It's there you'll find a group of students attempting to break the world record for largest group hug. They need 12,000 participants to do it, and cities all across the country will join in. You may have seen them earlier this month on the Today Show, but we are so proud of these local kids and wish them the best of luck as they go for the record. The current record for biggest group hug is 10,554 people set in Canada in 2010.
It's a lot of hugs.
It's a lot of hugs. Well, still to come, an unexpected alliance between North and South Korea.
Yeah, these 2 countries have reached an agreement over how to present themselves in next month's Winter Olympics. We're going to tell you how this deal came about.
And left for dead in the floodwater of Hurricane Irma, these dogs have a new lease on life. 8 on Your Side has an update on their conditions and how they are finding new forever homes.
Eagle 8 HD coverage is brought to you by your Suncoast Hyundai dealers. Visit your local dealer today or shop buyhyundai.com.
Hey, 22 days to go before the start of NBC's coverage of the 2018 Winter Olympics and a historic handshake between North and South Korea. For the first time in Olympic history, there will be a united North and South Korea team. So here's what that means. All North and South Korean athletes would march together at the opening ceremony behind a united blue flag showing the Korean peninsula. There will also be a united women's ice hockey team. The United Korea plan now needs approval from the International Olympic Committee. And News Channel 8's sports anchor Annie Sabo will be at the 2018 Winter Games in South Korea. You can watch her Olympic reports throughout the month of February right here on News Channel 8.
They were abandoned in Hurricane Irma. 5 dogs left to fend for themselves. Our Polk County News crew helped get them rescued, and tonight they're ready for adoption. News Channel 8's Melissa Marino joins us now live at the SPCA Florida in Lakeland. And gosh, I got to say, what a difference a couple of months makes, Melissa.
Well, absolutely. It's so great to see them like this. I want to show you. Here are 3 of them that are available for adoption. Look how good they are, and they've been sitting so good on their leashes, just waiting for their camera time. A world of difference, Jenna, as you said, from when we first found these dogs. You may remember this. These 5 scared pups left to fend for themselves during Hurricane Irma. My photographer and I found them crying for help, stranded in their kennel, surrounded by rising floodwaters. I've been getting a lot of messages. I want to show you right now. One by one, they are taking these dogs out and taking them to safety. We broadcasted live when Animal Control stepped in and rescued them. Remember this mama dog clinging to a picnic table. Months later, she's all smiles.
The difference of night and day, and then seeing them out here in the play yards, they're about there. So we're very excited about it.
2 have already found homes. Toby Zinninger adopted Huckleberry.
We watched it on the internet, and we saw him getting rescued in the water.
In the past few months, all 5 were taken to SPCA Florida in Lakeland, where they received medical treatment and training, learning how to live outside of a cage.
It's pretty neat to have a dog that you can see on TV before you know it, and he's been a really good dog, and we're happy to have them.
It's real exciting, you know, when we can, you know, be involved in a story like this, thanks to you, and, you know, just be able to get the animals back on the right path of, you know, health and happiness.
All right, so 2 adopted. We have 3 available. Right here we have Sir Mix-a-Lot. Over here we have Johnny, and here is Sweet Marigold. I'm telling you, I want to take her home, but hopefully they find good homes. They really, really deserve it, and they look so much better. It's so great to see them so happy and just happy. Jen?
Yeah, and special thanks to you and photojournalist Jamie Cook, because your eagle eye definitely helped make the difference for these dogs. So Melissa Marino, live for us in Polk County. Thank you.
Now, Max Defender 8, the world's most powerful radar, and your Storm Team 8 forecast with Chief Meteorologist Steve Jervy.
Well, it's certainly cold, but there's hope for warmer temperatures. 70 degrees Saturday, 74 degrees for Sunday, Monday 78 degrees, another front up the road, but that one probably not as cold as this one. In fact, it won't be. Well, the cold here is nothing compared to parts of Siberia. Temperatures there hit minus 88 degrees, minus 88 degrees Fahrenheit. That's Fahrenheit in some areas yesterday. So much so people's eyelashes are being covered in frost. So it could always be that cold. In fact, we were just kind of Googling around here. That probably is some of the coldest weather, if not the coldest temperature ever recorded on the planet Earth. Satellite observations have been colder, but ever actually recorded. So you could be in Siberia.
I could see that being a new trend in 2018, frosty lashes.
Sure.
Stick your head in the freezer.
Is it wrong that I was thinking, that's pretty, that looks pretty?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's cold.
I want that in
complaints.
72 degree weather, though, those cool lashes.
Just get to the weekend, we'll be fine.
That's right. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Well, the cleanup is still underway in California's Santa Barbara mudslides. We're going to talk about that story coming up. Stay close. We'll be right back.
Thousands are still digging out of the deadly mudslides in California, but some good news has been hard to come by. One family, however, finally got some this week.
Thank you so much. We needed something like this to happen for our family. The house is
totally destroyed.
Our house has been pretty destroyed.
But you guys are safe.
We're safe.
And cautious.
That's Woody and Lindsay Thompson and their cat Koshka. The Montecito mudslide destroyed their home, and the family was rescued by helicopter, but Koshka was nowhere to be found. A week later, a rescue team followed muddy paw prints and found Koshka hiding inside the destroyed home, caked in mud. And as you can see, she and the Thompsons are doing quite a bit better, all things considered.
Good stuff. News Channel 8 at 6 o'clock is up next.
Keith and Stacey are here with what we're working on.
We have breaking news tonight. 9 FSU fraternity students arrested.
They are being charged in another student's death in a hazing incident. Coming up, the shocking new details we're learning about how it happened.
Plus, veterans living at the VA without heat as the temperatures drop. Still ahead, how Target 8 is getting results for those vets.
There's a new report out on human trafficking in Tampa, but we can't find anybody at this Asian massage spa who wants to read it.